The fact that I have been a frequent visitor over recent years shows just how close the collaboration is between Europol and the Bulgarian authorities. The Ministry of Interior, the General Prosecutor, many of its agencies, Gedibop and SANS, all of them very close contacts and very important partners in the fight against crime and terrorism against Europe. So the context of today's conference, of course, is the security landscape in Europe today, becoming more challenging, becoming more complex, I think, than ever before. This year, again, we've seen 25 terrorist attacks around Europe, propagated by people who are among a community of tens of thousands of radicalized individuals who are acting in ways to cause us great harm, acting in ways using the internet to spread their propaganda. And it represents, I think, the highest terrorist threat that Europe has seen for at least a generation. Meanwhile, the cybercrime threat to our businesses, our governments, our citizens is also at record levels. We saw this year the attack, the largest ransomware campaign we have ever seen in history. In May this year, when WannaCry infected over 300,000 companies around the world, it showed just how large-scale cybercrime has become, just how sophisticated it's becoming, and how complex it is in our ability to fight it. Migration smuggling is a problem that has grown quickly in Europe since the migration crisis in 2015. Europol has identified over 70,000 criminals that are involved in this terrible trade across Europe. And beyond that, in so many other forms of organized crime, illicit drug trafficking, fake and counterfeiting, illicit tobacco smuggling, in so many of these areas, we're also seeing significant increases in criminal activity. So this is a complex and very large-scale security problem that we have in Europe. It means, of course, that the problem is defined by its transnational nature especially. These problems, all of those that I have described, are working across our borders in all of our communities using globalized instruments like the internet to cause us greater harm. So for a transnational problem, we need a transnational response. We need to have a stronger law enforcement community working together more closely than ever before, exchanging intelligence as much as possible, working on cross-border operations every day. Europol has a special role to interconnect the law enforcement community in Europe to support the national authorities, such as those in Bulgaria. And now we have over 1,000 law enforcement authorities around Europe and in many other countries that are active partners of Europol on our intelligence sharing platform, helping us to support over 60,000 cross-border cases every year. We're collecting more data, exchanging more intelligence than ever before, and using that to power a different kind of response to organized crime and terrorism. But we are nothing without the active support of our member states. We rely on every one of them to help us make Europe a safer place. And here I am today in one member state, Bulgaria, that has been a very active supporter of Europol in recent years. And I want to thank the Prime Minister, his ministers, and the responsible agencies for the very proactive way they have collaborated with Europol and other member states in many fields of crime in recent years. The General Prosecutor and the Prime Minister again briefed me on their latest operation today that was concluded in the recent days, which is another significant impact in helping Bulgaria safeguard its citizens and helping the rest of Europe fight organized crime in a successful way. So for many of the operations in the field of drug trafficking, in the field of the counterfeiting of the euro currency, in the field of tobacco smuggling, and increasingly in helping us to track the movements of foreign terrorist fighters. I'm very pleased about the level of support that Bulgaria has given my institution.